Is Joe Schoen's master plan starting to come together? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and on today's show, we're going to react to the rumors that are circulating that Joe Schoen and the Giants are trying to leave the 2025 NFL Draft with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Let's start with this. Travis and Shedeur were on each other's podcasts on YouTube, and they had this interaction. Shedeur goes, "Hey, two of us can end up on the same team, bro." And Travis was like, "Definitely two of us can end up on the same team, bro. You never know." I be trying to tell people, you never know what's going to happen in the draft, bro. Draft night is going to be crazy. You don't know where we are going. And this isn't the first time that, one, we've talked about these rumors on this channel, and two, not the first time that we've seen these rumors be out there on Twitter. One, shout out to this awesome edit. Follow my guy. You can see his watermark on the picture right there. So we had that. And then we have this from Sears Tower, who is pretty much another Slick Rick, a.k.a. Pretty Ricky on Twitter. He's really tapped in with the Chicago Bears as well as the NFL Draft, and he's had a lot of success on predicting things. And he says this is true. I'll add the below before I disappear again. The hashtag Giants are very seriously looking into trading back into the draft for Shedeur Sanders after taking Travis Hunter at number 3. They think there's a very real possibility where they can reunite Hunter and Sanders. Slick Rick pretty much saying the Tennessee Titans are going to select Cam Ward number 1 overall, and the only way that they are going to be able to trade out of that pick is if the Giants give up 3 picks. They were close to a deal at the NFL Combine, but that fell through because the Giants weren't willing to include the 2026 pick. So you have Travis and Shedeur talking about playing together. You have Sears Tower saying the Giants are planning to do this. And throughout the last week, we've started to see more and more pairings and rumors and thoughts about Shedeur and Travis. Shout out to Kurt Benkert, former NFL quarterback, now a YouTuber that does awesome Madden content. He released his first mock draft for the 2025 NFL draft cycle, and he has Travis Hunter going to the Giants with the number 3 overall pick. And then you see at the very bottom with the 32nd overall pick, Shedeur Sanders goes to the Giants. He actually had the Eagles and Giants making a draft day trade where the Giants move up from slot 34 to slot 32 to select Shedeur. So in Mr. Benkert's mock draft, they leave with Shedeur and Travis. Then Patty Traina, longtime New York Giants insider, just randomly tweeting out, "Would you be happy if the Giants took Travis Hunter at 3 and then traded back into the bottom of the draft in round 1 to select Shedeur Sanders?" And you see the reply saying, "We both know that this will not happen." And Patty says, "Never say never." And we're starting to hear more and more that Shedeur Sanders, if not selected at the top of round 1, could maybe have a round 1 draft day slide, similar to a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Daniel Jeremiah on the Rich Eisen show saying this, Shedeur, quote, "He's going to go in the top 3 of the draft. If he doesn't go in the top 3, I think there's a very real scenario where he gets outside of the top 10. Daniel Jeremiah saying this just a couple days ago. I think it was actually yesterday he said this. And I would say Daniel is one of the more tapped in NFL draft insiders across the landscape of the league. And I want to go back to this mock draft where Trevor Sikkema, NFL draft analyst for PFF, he went on the Dan Patrick show following the NFL Combine and said, "I could not find anybody that spoke with conviction with Shedeur Sanders being quarterback 1, taken in the top 10, or even as a first-round quarterback." Trevor then did a mock draft following the NFL Combine, and he did not have Shedeur going round 1. So now we have PFF saying Shedeur could slide out of round 1. You have Daniel Jeremiah saying he could slide out of round 1. And that's just where we are getting started. So I want to bring this question up. If Joe Schoen's master plan is to go out and select Travis Hunter, as well as trading back up for Shedeur Sanders, let's start with this. How far can Shedeur actually end up sliding in the NFL draft? When you look at the draft order and you see that the Titans are most likely going to take Cam Ward. Adam Schefter has doubled and tripled down that the Cleveland Browns are going to take Abdul Carter. And then if the Giants do take Travis Hunter at number 3, Shedeur's not going 4 to the Patriots. Not 5 to the Jags. Maybe 6 to the Raiders, but they just paid Geno a lot of money. The Jets just gave Justin Fields a lot of money. The Panthers saw growth from Bryce Young last year. The Saints make some sense, right? They do. New coach. Seems like Derek Carr, I almost said David Carr, Giants legend. Derek Carr could be on his way out of the league. That could make some sense. He's not a Brown. He's not a Niner. Maybe he's a Cowboy if Jerry just wants to be Jerry. He's not a Dolphin. He's not a Colt. He's not a Falcon. He's not a Cardinal. He's not a Bengal. Maybe he is a Seahawk, but they just cashed out Sam Darnold. He's not a Buck. He's not a Bronco. The Steelers kind of seem like a logical spot there. He's not a Charger. He's not a Packer. He's not a Viking. He's not a Texan. Maybe he's the next guy up after Matthew Stafford with the Rams. He's not a Raven. He's not a Lion. He's not a Commander. He's not a Bill. He's not a Chief. He's not an Eagle. I honestly think if he falls out of the top 3, he's not really going to be a Raider. I don't think he's going to be a Saint, and he could be on a free fall. And if he does start to free fall and he gets past the Saints, I'm picking up the phone, and I'm calling Ryan Poles. The number 10 pick is where I start to look back into round 1 to move up and select Shedeur Sanders. And maybe it even is before that. I mean, if you love him and you think he's a franchise quarterback, maybe you pick up the phone before that. And we've seen a GM and Nick Caserio entering year 3 of the NFL draft as a general manager, someone on the hot seat with the Houston Texans say, you know what? I am going to make a franchise-changing trade. Remember the Houston Texans selected C.J. Stroud, number 2 overall? Then they moved back up from number 12 to number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals to select Will Anderson. They got, in their eyes, the best defensive player in the class, and they got the quarterback they wanted. To go from 12 to 3 is much different than to go from 34 to 10. The Texans had to give up, obviously, pick 12, pick 33, a future first, and a future third while getting back a 4th in that draft. So it can be done. We have seen something like that happen. And with the Giants, they've got the draft capital to make it happen if they absolutely want to. You've got 5 picks inside the top 105. That is enough draft capital to make a serious offer to a team like the Bears at number 10 or a team after that if you want to move back up to get Shedeur Sanders. I wanted to look at the draft pick value chart. It's a chart that allots points for every single pick in the NFL draft. It's one that a lot of NFL teams use. We have a lot of instances where you see trades come down to just a couple of points. And if you're trying to trade for the number 10 pick, which is owned by Chicago, that is 369 points, you would have to put together a package that somewhat looks like this. You're going to be giving up pick 34. That's 175 points. You're going to have to give up pick 65, in my opinion. That's 78 points. And the 36 pick, or the number 99 pick, that's 36 points. That brings you up to 289 points, which means you're still 80 points shy. And the Bears are absolutely, if it is pick 10 or pick 9 of the Saints or pick 11 in that range, a team trading out of the first round is going to want a first-round pick in the future. And a lot of ways that teams look at that point value chart is the last pick of a round is the same point total as what a future pick of the previous round would be. So a 2026 first-round pick is equivalent to a second-round pick in this year's draft. And if you look at the last pick in the second round, pick 64, that is 80 points. And the New York Giants were 80 points shy of meeting that minimum threshold to get a deal with the Bears done. So if the Giants' plan is to leave with both Colorado Buffalo superstars and Shedeur's on the clock at number 10, and you want to call Ryan Poles to get a deal done, I think the starting negotiations is this. Pick 34, pick 65, pick 99, and a future first-round pick. No doubt, a lot to trade up to go get Shedeur Sanders. But if you think he's a franchise quarterback, I think that you would agree to a deal like this. Would you make this trade? If you were Joe Schoen and you were in the circumstance that he is in, would you pull off this deal? A for accept, D for decline. Sound off for me in the comment section. I once heard Joe Schoen say this. Scared money don't make money. Shout out to the guys over at Fireside Giants, Alex and Anthony. They do great stuff over there. This graphic is sick. Scary money don't make money. We've heard Joe Schoen say it. How scared is he to make this move, and how much money is he willing to spend? And I can already hear people in the comments, but Marshall, why on earth would the Giants trade back into the first round to select Shedeur Sanders if they didn't select him at number 3? If they loved him, they would have picked him at 3. There's no way they would trade up for him. Maybe that's true. And I agree. You only make this move if you are in love with Shedeur Sanders. If you think he's a franchise quarterback, you make that trade 10 times out of 10 that we showed you with the Chicago Bears. But maybe Joe Schoen is looking at it like this. Travis Hunter is a hard prospect to pass up on. Travis Hunter just won the Heisman playing offense and defense. I've got a hole at receiver and corner. And maybe I can find a way to leave the NFL draft with the best player in Shedeur or Travis and a quarterback that I view as a franchise guy in Shedeur. Just because you don't take him at 3 doesn't mean you don't think he could be good. Maybe you're trying to play the game and maneuver your way and manipulate the NFL draft, make it work for you to leave the draft with, in your mind, 2 of the top 5 players in this draft. And you probably think Shedeur's a better quarterback when he's throwing to a guy like Travis Hunter, who in my opinion is no doubt the best wide receiver in this class. I think he's one of the better wide receiver prospects we've seen. I would have had Marvin Harrison and Malik Nabers above him if he was in last year's class, but he would have been the number 3 in that class, and that's above guys like Rome Odunze and Brian Thomas Jr. And BTJ just had an amazing first year. 96 grabs last year, playing offense and defense, 1,300 yards, 13.1 yards per catch, 15 touchdowns, and just 3 drops. He does not drop the football. He's got some of the best ball skills I've ever seen on both sides of the ball. When he catches it, he can go 0 to 60 just as fast as people that we've seen where number 13 did in this jersey. He looks like Justin Jefferson out there at times. At other times, he looks like Jamar Chase. And then he looks like Odell Beckham. Then he looks like Garrett Wilson. He could take the top off the defense. He's one of the best in the country in contested catch situations. Him and Malik Nabers would bring a legit duo to your offense for a long, long time. And that would be a much more QB-friendly spot for a guy like Shedeur. Oh, yeah, and he could play defense. And he would probably be already the second best corner on your team. And right now, you have a guy that's walking the line, Deonte Banks, of being a bust. We all want Deonte to be good. If he's good, the Giants are going to be better. The fastest way for the Giants to get better is for a guy like Deonte Banks to be good. So you have a guy that could do both things, play corner and play receiver, who I think drastically changes the overall outlook of your roster. And again, if you believe Shedeur Sanders is that guy, you make that trade. I wouldn't even be mad if you take him at number 3 if you think he's the guy. But if you could find a way to lead the draft with Travis and Shedeur, yeah, you should be doing probably whatever it takes to make that happen. I believe Shedeur can be a good NFL quarterback. Do I know without a doubt that he's a franchise guy? No. I've been pretty consistent about that. But I think Brian Daboll and Shedeur Sanders could form a marriage that produces a successful football team. He's really good against pressure. He's really smart with the football. He knows how to make big-time throws. I feel like he plays his best football in big-time moments when the clock is running low and he's trying to put back a comeback or a game-winning drive or a game-sealing drive. I think he plays his best. And we've seen him do it against the blitz. We've seen him do it under pressure. When he is clean in the pocket, he's good as well. Is he a perfect prospect? No. Am I in love with him as a quarterback prospect? No. Do I think he could be a good NFL quarterback? Yes. Do I think he'd be a great NFL quarterback? I think he can. But I don't know if he's an MVP. I don't know if he is a Hall of Fame talent. But if you're a GM in Joe Schoen's shoes and you want to make sure that you at least leave the NFL draft with a guy that could be your franchise quarterback, makes it a lot easier to stomach if you're also leaving with Travis Hunter. And you could potentially have an offense that maybe in week 8 or week 9 when Russell Wilson has the Giants at 4-4 or 4-5 or 3-5, and the handoff for the starting QB baton is ready to be passed. You could have Malik Nabers and Travis Hunter and Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton and Tyrone Tracy. And hopefully your offensive line stays healthy. Look, is it likely? No, I would not say this is likely. Is it impossible? Not at all. I agree with Daniel Jeremiah. If Shedeur Sanders does not go number 3 to the Giants, I'm not saying he slides to the back half of the first round. I'm not saying he slides out of the first round. But I think he at least slides to 9, and then it's decision time. Do the Saints and brand new head coach Kellen Moore want to take him there? If not, maybe he slides even further. Maybe you pick up the phone at pick number 8 so the Saints don't have a chance to take him. If you think Shedeur is great, and everyone thinks Travis is great, and you want to make a statement, Joe Schoen, while you're on the hot seat, this would be one of those swings for the fences that you talk about. And it brings some life back to this organization. If you want the Giants to draft Travis and Shedeur, hit that thumbs up icon. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, the New York Football Giants, that would make Mr. Mara very happy because the Giants will be playing a lot of primetime games. And he cares about that kind of stuff. Make sure you are following me over on Instagram and Twitter at @MarshallGreen_ on same platform. Hit me up and let's go Big Blue.